I began in martial arts because my dad, when I was 6 years old, let me see a Bruce Lee movie, The Fist of Fury. And because I was quite a small child, I thought I was brilliant. I watched that film, I was doing side kicks all over the place, jumping on the furniture, getting myself in trouble. And I was determined to do martial arts. And I started with Sensei Ken Bailey in Norwich, in karate. And after about 3 lessons, because I was training with adults, I got kind of freaked out with all the shouting and screaming, and I kind of backed off. A little bit later, about 6 months later, a friend of mine, I'd be about 7 at this point, said to me, why don't you do Taekwondo with me? And there's loads of other kids there. So I went and did Taekwondo, and I kind of really got into it then. I ended up coming back to karate and training with Maureen, Sensei Maureen, who was under Ken Bailey again. So training with Ken Bailey, or Sensei Bailey, I trained with him for 22 years, and he was a very, very good instructor. And I was involved in his kickboxing team, the Norfolk Tigers, and we became British champions at one point. I won several competitions, karate competitions. But Ken was an old school martial arts instructor. He was a doorman for years, and he had over 100 fights in his life, and was very much into what actually worked in a fight rather than what looked pretty and nice, which obviously has a real influence on the way I view martial arts. And for a long while I've had a very similar view, but it changes a little bit because everyone evolves their own way of thinking. Aemhai started when I was about 26. I had cracked a vertebrae in my back. I was crippled. I was in extensive pain. The pain wouldn't stop for about 10 years. So I was basically told my competitive career, because I was competing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the time, that's gone, forget it, it's not worth it. Eventually, when I was about 32, I met Sensei Steve Isles, a sword master. He got me to think about training in a different way and not being so hard and doing everything like a rock. He then helped me get to Los Angeles and in front of Sensei Demura, Fumio Demura, who, if you've ever watched the original Karate Kid films, whenever Mr. Miyagi has a fight sequence, you're watching Fumio Demura. And that's where I entered one of the biggest tournaments in the world, and I won I think a silver medal for Britain, and I didn't even know I'd get that far with it because it went on for about 2 weeks. That told me that I was that crippling pain, or that ending of a competitive career. No, that wasn't the ending, and I competed in judo for about several months afterwards. So after the back injury, but prior to all this recovery, I had to do something. So Ken at the time, Sensei Bailey, told me, why don't you start up teaching? And I didn't want to go back to teaching. I tried it before I went to university, and I felt that didn't go quite right. And I reluctantly went and taught a class, and that reluctance slowly turned into 2 classes. Then it quickly turned into 5 classes. And that reluctance then became a part-time business, because you have to get paid for the time because you're giving up so much time. And then eventually that turned into a full-time business. And I reluctantly had to start taking it seriously and actually making it run and function to the point where we were hosting a national level tournament. And we had to start looking at everything from our medals to our certificates to like infrastructure and teams, and making things grow so that people could compete in a safe way that would help them really develop. And our tournament was always about personal development. If you wish to join Aemhai Martial Arts and get involved with what we do, we train every day of the week. We train in Norwich and around Norfolk, but we do a lot at Wentham Sports Centre, and we also do it in after-school clubs. If you want to contact us, you can contact us on aemhai.com, which is spelled AEMHAI.com, or aemhaioutlook.com, and there should be a link down below.